I've recently had the opportunity to sit down and chat with some of my mastermind sisters about their experiences of personal growth and transformation within the Charmed Life Mastermind. These conversations were completely unscripted outside of an outline of a few key questions that I asked each of them. It's my intention in sharing their stories that any of you who might be curious or on the fence about joining the mastermind can find a sense of connection in each of their experiences to understand the common struggles and outcomes that we face and work towards inside of our community. Here is one such interview. Enjoy. Please introduce yourself to us.
Hi, my name is Ximena. I am from Mexico originally, but I have been living in New York for the past 2 years. I am a former English teacher, but right now I'm a starting entrepreneur. And I have been a member of the membership since the beginning in October of 2020.
Yeah, so Ximena is one of our founding members of the Mastermind. So it's great to hear from you because you've obviously had a whole lot of time to spend within the Mastermind, and you probably have a lot of insight to share about what people could expect, which I think is incredibly valuable. So thank you so much for being here and sharing that with us. So the first thing that I want to ask you is, why did you initially decide to join the Mastermind?
Well, I have been following you for a number of years before the membership, and I have always found your concepts about productivity and goal setting really useful. They're tools that I use every time I set up to plan a project or at the end of the year. So when I saw that there was this format of belonging in a membership and having this constant contact with you and with other people who are like-minded, it really appealed to me, that idea of the regularity and consistency, so that I didn't do it on my own anymore. That's like the main thing that
Yeah, and
attracted
that
me
you're
to
touching
it.
on a really good point here too, which is I think when it comes to one of the things I say about productivity and with a lot of things in life is that being consistent is what matters, right? And that's why I even had decided to start the mastermind was how do I create a sense of consistency for people who are on this journey of like productivity and self-improvement and reaching for their goals, right? How do I create a framework for them? So that was one of the reasons that I actually decided to do this was for the consistency as well for myself too, right? Because I
Yeah.
also am a human like you all are, and I face the same pressures that everyone else does. And so it also brought me a sense of consistency as well with my business, to have this membership, not just as an additional stream of income, although that's fabulous, but also because it's been me needing to step up for you has
Mhm.
also helped me step up in a new way as well. So this is really where that mastermind aspect comes in, that I really think it's not just, I try not for this to be a triangle, right? Where I'm on top and then you guys are underneath me. This is a circle, right? And I hope that although I'm bringing things to the table on a very regular basis, that your interactions and your feedback and your input and things like that are also incredibly valuable to myself and everyone else. So thank you so much for sharing that.
And I
Now,
would also like to add about what you were saying, that
yes.
it shows that you're in constant communication with us and asking us which direction we would like to go next, or if it's something extra that we need. So that also makes it very useful for me, at least, to have this opportunity to give my input and to hear the other members also say, we would like to go in this direction, or we want to go deeper in this topic. And you're always open to listen to us and to adapt the content as much as possible to the needs that we have. So
Yes, because
that
at the
shows
end of
for
the day,
sure.
I want this, I'm doing this to serve you, right? So I'm doing this to make sure that I'm creating a really good experience that works for you guys and supports what you guys need, right? So thank you so much for mentioning that as well. So that was another great point. Now, once you did get into the mastermind, could you tell me about something that may have surprised you once you joined?
Yeah. Well, one aspect was the one that I just mentioned, because I have been part of other memberships, and usually it's a different format. You just join, and then the content is already there, and you just take whatever is already there. But in this case, one of the things that surprised me was this level of interaction and adaptability, and also the depth of each topic, because I can tell everyone that it's fantastic. The level of content, both in depth and in the way you handle all the classes and all the things that you give us really exceeded my expectations. I wouldn't say that it surprised me, because I follow you for that, and it's not like I'm shocked, but it was a very pleasant extra that I saw. And one other thing that I really liked was that as the membership moved along, you started to incorporate more touchstones throughout the month. Because in the beginning, it was just supposed to be just once a month. And then we started to ask if we could do another one. And those things have really been very, very enjoyable for me.
Yeah. So when Ximena and everyone else who founded the membership with me started, we only had one call. We had the master class. And then it just really it began to feel for me very quickly that we probably needed to meet a little bit more often. Number one, just so that, people who couldn't come on the day of the master class would still have more opportunities to engage, and to also have like a dedicated place, to do our Q&A, which is, the first thing we added was the office hours call. And then very recently in the fall, in October, I had integrated that CEO Power Hour that I had been doing on YouTube. I brought it into the mastermind because I thought, you know what, this is a time and space I've already created for business. And I really wanted to be able to help the people who are in the membership with that business coaching, which I know that you being a female entrepreneur, you're one of the people that impacts, right? That time and space is there for you to plan with me, but also to say, hey, Alexis, I have questions on business. Or, one of the new things we're doing this year is that I'm going to start actually choosing a topic, a little mini lesson to teach on during the power hour. So not our 3-hour master classes, right? But something I do want to keep the power hour to be about an hour, but I want to share something with you, some guidance that'll give you clarity and some strategy that you guys can go ahead and try if you want to, right? If it works for you and it fits your business, right? So that's how I would like to go deeper on those. And that wasn't something I was going to be able to do on YouTube, right? To be able to field all that business, the coaching and all of those lessons, it makes more sense to have it within the mastermind. So yes, I'm so glad that you are liking those additions. And I've even within our Slack group, I've even tightened up what I'm doing, right? From posting occasionally to every day of the week I post. And I have like a structure of different posts that go out for accountability. So yeah, this was a learning experience for me, right? I had never done this before. I just felt called to do it. And it was like, let's figure out what works. What do you guys need? Let me see if I can do it for you, right? So we've been pretty successful with that. Next, how has your experience then with the classes and the resources and tools been? How have you liked those and how do you use those?
Well, I love the monthly classes. They're one of my favorite aspects. I don't always have the time to get to them live, but whenever I can't, I always watch the replay. And I always learn something new. It's very enjoyable for me to we have like this group of people who are usually the same ones that log in every time, and we can interact with each other in the chat. As I said, you go very, very deep with the topics that we are talking about. So even if I think I know what we're going to talk about, I always learn more with those. And regarding the workbooks, and those for me are gold. I can't tell you how valuable they have been, especially the ones of goal setting, the ones that we did the last few months towards the end of the year. They blew my mind. And I have worked with workbooks from you before, but these ones, they're like a frame of reference for me moving forward. And I have been using them constantly in order to get my goals on paper, get clarified about my next steps. So those parts have been very, very useful for me. I really like the workbooks. I think as tools, those are my favorites. And the live classes are also my one of the things I like the most.
That's lovely to hear. And I'm not surprised that you brought up with the last couple of months that the workbooks have been we'll say on another level, right? Mm-hmm. And that's because if you think of, I know that this happened. Like this was a shift I had to make, was when we were coming back up to me doing the same classes that we had done when we first kicked off. It was like, okay, Alexis, you now have to challenge yourself. We have to refine this more. We have to integrate more of the things that we've been teaching, right, in the class. So it was like I knew I had to take a step up. And so I'm really excited because, like, again, with this being accountability for me and my, my philosophies and the way that I've been teaching, because I've had this interaction with all of you guys, I'm able to make these processes, even if we go to the same topic again, you're never going to see the same topic like twice. Even like we have done classes that are the same, like the vision board party, the New Year's goal setting. I did the breaking through limiting beliefs twice, right? Every time it's like I'm learning more about how to, how to create things that help you guys take action better. I'm refining my strategy, and it's like a big productivity puzzle that I'm putting together. So I'm excited because I think this year I think the workbooks are just going to continue to be like even a better level, because it's like I have to challenge myself to integrate things on a new level every time I make the workbooks for you guys. So that's awesome, and something to look forward to, and something for me to look forward to, because I like doing that too. I like challenging myself and finding new ways to help you guys, learn the information, put it to use. So then what wins have you experienced during the course of the mastermind that you attribute to either like the information you're learning, the atmosphere of the group, or the support of the group as a whole?
Well, one thing that is very clear for me is now that I'm starting my own business, the business aspect of the mastermind has been very helpful for me, even before I enjoyed 100% all the content of the mastermind. I don't mean to say that if you don't have a business, this is not for you, because it totally is. It just gave me like this extra motivator factor. I think that for me, the biggest win has been the thing that we were talking about before, the regularity gives me some accountability, gives me something to show up month after month, or answering questions in the Slack group. These things keep me consistent, because even if I try to do it on my own, internal motivation and all that, it's always useful to have like an external structure or a frame, so that okay, from here to next month, I want to do this because I want to share this with the group.
Yes.
Or that for me has been very, very helpful.
Yeah, that's definitely invaluable, right? And we've talked about this within the group as well. There are certain personality types that do better with that sort of external accountability than others do, right? So, if we're thinking about in terms of like Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies, people who are obligers tend to do much better with the external accountability. I'm a rebel, and so accountability is all over the place for me. But because I have to show up in the group for myself, for you guys, that is kind of forced me into a place of having to be regular as well. So, accountability comes in a lot of different forms. You can be internally motivated, if you're one of those, what are they called? It was not the obliger, upholder, the upholder for Gretchen Rubin. Yeah. If you're an upholder, maybe you don't need the accountability of the group to the same extent, but you still have a group to come to and talk to. Yes. And I think that one of the great things is, and I've talked about this with other members of the group who I've interviewed, having to be the accountability for other people, even if it's not that you need the accountability or want the accountability. When you have to step up and you're like, I'm part of this group and I'm helping people, seeing other people win, right? That becomes your reason and motivation as well for getting more done. So I'm like so glad that you guys have been really filling into that role of really stepping up for each other. And really, I think that changes your sense of confidence and motivation in yourself, because you are that person for others now that they're also relying on, right? But if that's not for you, as a rebel, I can understand that not everyone wants that role, right? But for those of you who do, there's a lot of different ways that working in the mastermind does help bring you to more accountability if you're one of the people who show up and engage, right? Because that's the most important part.
Now, and for sure, sorry, but I wanted to say that for sure, seeing the other members advancing their own goals, it's also an important factor for me, even if they're completely different from mine.
And usually they are completely different, right? So that's the other thing is, I'm so glad that there hasn't been any aspect of like competition, right? Even though we have many businesses in there that maybe do similar things, it's always been, how can I cheer on, Ximena? How can I, uplift Kimberly? How can I answer questions for Dory? Everyone is working together in a very egalitarian way, I guess.
And it's inspiring. It's inspiring both when they move forward and also when they say, this week I couldn't because life got in the way, you say, okay, the same thing happened to me. It's very relatable.
Yes. Absolutely, definitely. Because, and especially when people say they're having a struggle, and like, especially when we talk about mindset work and we talk
Mhm.
about how to get out of it, right? That's everybody. A lot of us have the exact same struggles, you know, like we live on the same planet here. We're, you know, although our goals and our ultimate aspirations may be different, the same pressures are still there. So working on our mindset and sharing how that's working for us, you know, that's one of those things that can just surprise, it can just surprise you. But somebody might say something, it's like, wow, I didn't know that that's what I was feeling, or that's the solution that I was looking for. So absolutely, that's amazing.
And I
So
think that that's, oh, I'm sorry.
no, it's
Can
okay.
I? I think that's one of my favorite things about the mastermind that I didn't expect. Going back to the surprise, was the mindset work. Because as much as I love the productivity tools and the make a list and then prioritize, I think that if you don't have the mindset, the tools don't work. And we have been working so much about mindset in the mastermind. I love the meditations. It is something new that you're doing that I enjoy, and they definitely get me out when I'm in one of these days when I'm like, no, I don't think I can do it, or I don't feel like it. I put my headphones on, I listen to the meditations, and it really changes my
It
perspective.
does for me too. I listen to I think it's so, every morning, like I've been doing this month we're doing the whole division challenge.
Yeah.
So every morning I go and I go into the group and I open up the vision board theta meditation and I watch it. And I'm like, I could watch it somewhere else too. Like I have it saved as a file on my computer, but I go into the mastermind just like I'm anybody else in the mastermind, and I watch it and I make myself do it. Not that it's such a trouble, but I put it on and I'm like listening to myself and I'm like, yes, I need this. Like this works. This is helpful. And it's me. It's me guiding myself.
Oh, that's great. It shows that it
So
really
that's
works.
awesome. So then what would you tell someone who was on the fence about joining the mastermind right now?
Well, I would tell them that it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. The content that you get, the interaction that you get with other people, if you apply it, if you participate in it, it really can change the way you do either big goals, little goals, everyday life. Um, you're going to learn so much about how the mind works and about principles and about how energy. We have talked about that as well. And you're also going to learn how to have real material results in your life, something tangible. So you will have that combination of both the intangible in your mind and the result in the outside world. I can tell you that this mastermind has also so many things. We have a book club also. We have things for fun, and we sometimes share recipes or things that we're talking about. So it's
And
a
our
very
Spotify playlists, right? We have our
yeah,
Spotify playlist.
and it's a very nice community. The people who are there are very supportive. As you said, I always see proactive and supportive comments from everyone. We come from all different walks of life, but it's definitely something that it's not like other memberships that you feel like the obligation to do it or that it's intrusive. It's like a companion in life. That's how I use the mastermind. Like something that helps me cheer me on when I need to, that gives me support when I need to, that when I need to learn new things, I have it there. And you can go back all the way to the beginning to see all the things that we have done, which is also for me invaluable. And the fact that I have seen since the beginning how it has grown and evolved, I can only imagine where it's going to go next. So
Yes.
it's not
I'm
the same
excited
old,
too.
same
Who
old.
knows where it's going to go, but it's onward and upward, always
Uh-huh,
expanding into greater and greater possibilities, as I like to say.
exactly.
So thank you so much, Ximena, for your time and for all of your insight. I think you brought up some really awesome points that I think are definitely going to resonate with many people. So I've definitely appreciated having you within in the mastermind. You've definitely been a very valued member of this community. So I'm just really honored to be able to sit down with you and share, your point of view on what we're doing and creating together in the mastermind. So thank you so much for being here.
The pleasure is all mine. And everybody who's watching, sign up for sure.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Bye.